Hey, it's the boss here. Today I'm going to show you something a little bit different. I'm going to talk about frame generation. I'm going to try and improve your frame rate. I have a little tool on Steam that you can purchase. You can double, triple your frame rate. All right, so we're here on the desktop, and what we want to do is obtain a program called Lossless Scaling. And with this and some magic of the
you gotta give him that Hawk Tuah.
We can increase our frame rate. And we can do this in any game. You can use frame generation. This is going to be a raw video, so I might screw up here and there, but we'll get through it. So this is lossless scaling. We have lots of different things, but we're just focusing on frame generation today. So this is the latest one to 2.1. So we have a frame generation ×2 mode and ×3 mode. We're going to go to ×3 mode due to me having a Samsung 32-inch 240 Hz 1440p monitor. So we can really sort of exacerbate and get towards that cap of the frame rate with the frame generation, even if our frame rates are low. We have a few games to go through. So we've got Elden Ring, and I want to try Alan Wake 2. Alan Wake 2 we can do because it's got NVIDIA frame generation, and then we're going to use lossless scaling and use that frame generation as well. So we'll go to Elden Ring, but just let me show you how to sort of go about it. So here we are, and what we actually have to do is run the game in full screen, but not native mode. So full screen window mode for this to actually start working. But we can go to settings, and here we have a scale hotkey. So when we're in the game, we can click this hotkey and the frame generation will kick in. So I've actually got Control-Alt-Z to make it easier for me. It's actually Control-Alt-S to start off with, but so it's sort of like that. We've also got, if you come down here, lots of different things, but we want draw FPS so we can actually see that it's working. I've also got MSI Afterburner with River Tuner here as well, so we can sort of see what's going on with the card, because it does sort of show, it does halve your frame rate, but then it sort of like triples your frame rate, but you can definitely feel the smoothness in it. This isn't really a new tool, but it's definitely jumped up in hype since the update. So we'll go with Elden Ring. By the way, I'm new to YouTube. My name is actually Romeo, but I call myself Boss Overclock on Twitch, YouTube, Twitter, all that stuff. Bit of introduction to myself, to the viewers. We'll load this up. I don't want any cuts this video. I just want to give you to raw so you see what I am seeing. Great game. Have yet to hit the DLC, but I am enjoying myself. Also, this game is capped at 60 FPS, unless like you do like a mod in the ini files or something like that. But here in Limgrave, we're getting, say, 52 FPS. And this is with no DLSS, also no ray tracing, I believe. No, ray tracing is maximum. 1440p, we're also running a 4060 Ti 16GB with a heavy overclock. So it is smoothish. The ray tracing definitely does take a toll. Excuse me for my girls. They're barking probably at the postman. Let's turn that off. And we're capped at 60. So this is not the fastest response monitor, but even at 60, it looks good. But now, Control-Alt-Z. And you see in the top left corner where it says 45. So that's what we're basing our frame rate on. And then the frame generation is kicking in ×3. So it's interpreting 2 frames between our frame, between the one we last drew and the last one we saw. So we're actually sitting at 133 frames now. And it is a lot smoother, even on 60 FPS. I did try this yesterday for the first time, and I was quite surprised how good it looks and how smooth it is. There is a so-called like fizzle effect. If you like slowly move the character, you can sort of see it. Now I'm going to change it live, so hopefully YouTube can pick it up, but I'll sort of rotate slowly. I don't know if you can see it like around her hat and her sort of shoulders, where it's like a bit fizzly. Let's go ahead and change that. So now it's off. We're just at 60. There is less fizzle. I mean, it's still a bit blurry-ish because we are, capped at 60 frames. Input is good, of course. Let's go back to that 130 FPS. See, like this, it just, I don't know, like, if you sort of rotate it around, we're giving it 44, but we're getting 131 outputted out. It just feels great. Why is he running away? But you see sort of in the distance, you can sort of like see it. But I reckon like if you sit back and just play your game, you're going to enjoy it. Especially like if you're coming from like, say, 20 to 30 FPS, you can like get 60 to 80 FPS. Let's take this guy out. Ooh, dear. Wow. Call for backup. Let's get him. We're sitting at 109 FPS. It feels good. And you can do this in any game. But what I want to try, I had sort of like a thought. What about if we frame gen the frame gen? Like, how would that look? So we're going to load up Alan Wake. Let's see how that goes. But remember, you have to run this in full screen window mode for it to work. And this is any graphics card, NVIDIA, Intel, AMD. Doesn't matter what gen, like a 1060, 1080. I heard even 570, 580, so it can really bring some life back in. Actually, also, let's see if the VRAM goes up. So we're sitting at 6,400 megabytes. So let's whack that back on. Yeah, so we went up 300 megabytes or so. So it's not a lot for, triple the output. We're giving it 42. We're getting 120 back. That is definitely a win. Like, especially since NVIDIA locked everyone out from frame generation, unless you're on the 40 series. That's the only reason I bought a 40 series. Let's go back. Get out of here. Oh, we're going back to menu. Didn't want to do that. I want to go back to desktop. With that, here we are. Lossless scaling. It's about $10 on Steam. No promo or anything, but it's great. I mean, it'll be the best $10 you ever spent. I'm guessing you can use this for emulation, older games. Every game I've tried, it works. I tried Liza P last night. That was really good. You can also 2x mode or 3x mode. I would say say you're sitting at 30 FPS or say 60 and you've got a 144 hertz monitor, just go ×3. So you can really, get that spectrum to hit that, cap of 144. But anyway, let's go Alan Wake, try that out. This video I'm doing no cuts, so this is completely raw. You see the loading screens, all that stuff. No magic behind the trees. Great game this as well. Just did all the expansions. Really enjoying myself. Let's go Old Gods, Local Girl, #1 fan. We could go to the diner, I guess. But it's probably easy to run in the diner. Maybe let's go to Local Girl. So that would be in the woods. I just want to give you guys, unbiased opinion. No smoke in the mirrors. There's quite actually a hard game to run. With a 4060 Ti, we are using frame generation. And we have also got DLSS on, I believe. So we're display mode borderless. That's what we want. DLSS. That's set to quality. Frame generation. VSync off. Everything maxed out. All right. We were sitting at 47. Go ahead and whack that on. So you see where it says our frame rate, top left, with River Tuner, that's actually gone down. So that's what we're inputting to the program. But we're actually pumping out 95, 94. But then when we go and give it the feel, it feels better. It really is magic. So I'm keen to see how low the frame rate goes if we turn off NVIDIA frame generation and just keep this one on. I mean, it looks good. It's a bit dark. I don't know if we can go outside. Don't know how well this would come up. I see a bit of fizzling around the gun as she's holding it. Ooh, especially when I move fast. But that might just be the blur as well. I mean, I guess if you're playing it, yeah, you're not going to... Unless you're looking for it, you can see it. But if you're enjoying yourself, it's smooth. There's no hiccups. There's no screen tears. Go ahead and turn that off. It's so easy, just like on and off, just bang like crazy. Yeah, so that effect's gone. I don't know if you're seeing that as I'm seeing it. Maybe I can do it in the light. That's pretty smooth. There's a little bit there. Almost like it outlines the gun in like invisible chalk, if that sort of makes sense. It's a bit more prominent. But I reckon you can get away with that. At 100 frames, like this game, without the frame gen, 4060 Ti, like let's have a look how bad it actually is. Let's go frame generation off. No DLSS. I mean, look at that. That's just unplayable. I mean, 14 FPS. You know, this is a 40 series card, like, and I've actually got the PNY triple fan. Like, it's and with a heavy overclock, like, wasn't a cheap card. Wasn't the most expensive. It's not a 4090, but I mean, 16 FPS. But what about if we frame gen it times 3? Wow, look at that. Don't look at that small number. Look at that large number. So we're outputting 13, but we're actually running at 40 FPS. It doesn't look the best, but it feels good. I mean, I'm guessing this is what like a PlayStation 5 Xbox experience would be at 30 FPS, and we're pumping out, 40. I'll say I'm happy with that. Let's go back to quality, DLSS. See, now we're 65. That feels worlds better than, 40. There's just one more time. So no lossless frame generation, 25 FPS with DLSS. Yeah, see, that's not playable to me. I mean, under 20s, no way. 30s above, yeah, especially with controller. Let's go frame gen one more. And this is maxed out. Like, this is everything. Bells and whistles all turned on, except for motion blur. 1440p. Frame generation on. The NVIDIA, it does help. The frame generation. Is it worth buying a 40 series card? No, it's not. Not when you got lossless. When you just go bang, you click it, and now we're getting 80 FPS. Just say you had a 20 series card and you put DLSS on, frame generation off. I mean, we're at 80 with frame generation on a frame generation, which looks quite well, not going to lie. We're sitting, just under 60. And we are in the woods. Like, this is the hardest place, to sort of run. And this is also a slow-paced game, so this is perfect. Obviously, the more FPS you give it, the better it's going to look. I mean, we're giving it 18 FPS. It's working on that. But it's doing a great job. I mean, if you look at those leaves in the distance, we can go back and forth, and there's just no problems at all. What I want you to do today, tell me what card you have in the comments. See what your frame rate is, on one of the titles that you enjoy doing, like Elden Ring or Alan Wake, or maybe first-person shooter, something like that. Something quite hard to run. And then get lossless scaling from Steam. It's about $5 to $10. Give it a whirl. Make sure windowed full screen. And, you're going to be happy as Larry. I mean, it is absolutely magic. Like, why spend the money, if you don't need to, I mean, if you got a 30, 60, 12 gig, you are playing these games on a good frame rate. DLSS, frame generation, lossless scaling, Liza P. I mean, the list goes on. Like, I'm actually gonna try see if I can up a score on like Furmark or 3D Mark. That would be just, you know, something to see if it maybe scales it. I don't think it will, because it outputs a certain frame and then sort of gives us, you know, the frame generated, but it might. We'll see what happens. But yeah, good to talk to you. Good to have, you know, a raw chat. Introduce myself a bit. I want to sort of make videos a little bit more. And yeah, have a great day and have a good time and enjoy your frame rate.